Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play A Plague Tale: Innocence. Amicia, Hugo, and their mom are escaping from their home because the English have invaded.
They're everywhere. Trust me. Through the grass, they won't be able to see us. Wait, Mommy. Shh.
This game is set in 1348 AD, which is just at the start of when the plague was really becoming this tsunami of a force sweeping across Europe. It was happening in the middle of the 100 Years' War between the French and the English, which gives you the context for what this is all about. Now, war was a pretty important vector for the transmission of the plague.
It worked.
Disease, just generally spreads pretty easily during times of conflict because you have a lot of people spending a lot of time in really close proximity to one another. And not under the most sanitary conditions either. And then there are the bodies. Why pestis, the disease behind the plague, behind the three plagues actually, septicemic, bubonic, and pneumonic, could linger in bodily fluids of dead animals and humans.
Amicia, help him. I'll carry you.
Okay, we have to boost Hugo over the wall. This is
Careful getting down.
nice and straightforward. Then we'll go back to leading him by the hand.
I will be back soon. It's okay.
So one of the earliest thought causes of the spread of the plague came after the Golden Horde controlled Tartars used siege weapons to catapult infected bodies into Kaffa, which is in modern-day Crimea. We are going to nail that cache of armor with a rock just to distract the guard, get him to look away so we can cross. That was tantamount to 14th century chemical warfare.
Breathe, Hugo, like I showed you.
And then the English would later go on to use that same tactic in the 100 Years' War with dead livestock.
So, the boy?
He's hiding, but Lord Nicholas is tracking him.
No Geneva Convention to
Be careful.
restrict that kind of barbarous warfare at that time. Then again, the idea that there is non-barbarous warfare is also kind of a joke.
Maybe by throwing one of these pots. Really? The noise will attract him. We'll slip past behind his back. All right.
And now we have another important mechanic. First, R1. My bad. It was hitting L1.
Listen, I know what you poor people are like. Always got a sneaky... What was that noise?
With something a little bit heavier that'll shatter and make noise on its own without having to clang against something, like ceramics. We can just throw that, get it to shatter, and that noise will draw guards away. And there's some nifty UI indicators to indicate exactly who among a pack of guards is going to go investigate a noise when you throw something like that.
Yes. Hugo, I'm sorry. I know you're scared, but if you get through there, you can open the door for us. You're the only one who can do it.
What's behind there?
Just concentrate on the door. You're a brave boy. You prove it to me every day. Amicia is going to let go of your hand. Then you can quickly go through, all right?
All right.
So this time, we're actually going to separate from Hugo so he can go and be useful. One of the reasons why this works so much, why this idea of a game-long escort quest doesn't turn Hugo into this 50-pound burden that you come to resent, because you have to rely on him. It's not just that he's your ward, and that you have to constantly babysit him. He's also instrumental in helping you. It's really clever game design to get you to not hate this child character who you're attached to at the hand for a lot of the game. Also, he's just a charming, nice kid, and there's something else about him that we're about to see. A recurring theme that we've had alluded to.
I'll stay here. My eyes. My head.
Listen to me. Breathe. Think of the cloud that you breathe in and blow out. Out. Like that slowly.
Oh, Mother, we can't stay here.
Give him a little time. He'll hurt you.
I think so.
So, let's continue. Courage, my darling.
It manifests in front of us for the first time as this piercing migraine.
There you go.
Thank you.
He's a really wonderful character.
Go now. It's too
Makes it easy to care about him.
Slower than us.
There are bots over there. I could cross, make a diversion.
Alone.
Yes, you'd have more time.
Right, so for the second time, we are going to have to leave Hugo alone.
Very careful.
But this time, we're more in... Oh, shit! I should have waited one more patrol cycle. Are you this dumb?
Where are you?
Are you this stupid? Yes, you are. Aw, shit. He's like a toddler. He has no object permanence.
Well, Mother and Hugo need time to get through.
Oh, he's too far away to hear that. The other concept we were introduced to earlier on was the idea of freehand throwing things. Because remember, way back at the beginning... It wasn't that long ago, actually.
Haven't seen or heard anything for ages.
We were introduced to the idea that our sling is much noisier. So we can just freehand throw rocks if we need to. Oh, you didn't see me before, but now you know. Of course. Well, won't make the same mistake twice.
We can go now.
This man didn't even have a helmet.
He's slower than us.
Maybe that's why he noticed.
I could cross.
He didn't have the impediment to his peripheral vision.
You'd have more time.
I want to move.
So again, we're going to leave Hugo alone. And those are essentially the two states for him, using down on the D-pad. Either he'll hold position, or he will be attached to you. And he doesn't hinder you all that much when he is. He doesn't draw that much extra
To
attention.
call them now. Psst, come here.
Better go see what it was.
So it's not a big deal that you're escorting him around. He's just...
Come quick.
You almost come to think of him as... You internalize him as part of your character model, almost. In terms of the game. So, yeah, it's never really Burdenson. Burdenson? That's a cool family. Burdensome. No, that would be the worst family.
The garden gate. We should be able to get out of here.
There's one guard left.
The scarecrow. I used to practice firing at it.
The Burdensons would be the kind of family who would call the cops on you for playing in their leaf piles in the fall.
Leave this to me.
Or just, you know, if you're like barbecuing in black. Yeah, I could see that.
Go away.
Barbecue
Get
Becky
out of here.
Burdenson.
Now.
Oh man, the mom has the cool colored braids too.
You're alive.
And hers are teal.
This way.
Fucking love
Follow
teal.
me.
My darling. Go and hide quickly now.
Madame, they are
Amicia,
here.
you have to take your brother to Laurentius.
The doctor?
Yes, he helped me treat Hugo. He will look after you.
And what about you?
you
you
do
have
not
to come.
need me, Amicia. You are.
But I do need you. I need you.
Hurry now. Follow the river. It will lead you to Laurentius.
Mother, no!
Do you see how
Follow me. Now.
off in his own world Hugo is right there? Now, we have another kind of recurring staple of this game, which is the escape sequence,
Run! It's bad.
where we're just sprinting, hauling ass to why pestis-palooza.
Don't stop! They're right behind us! Straight on! Very straight on!
Where are we going? They'll be able to find us.
Just keep running!
Notice how this has a similar environmental cue as before?
We can't let them catch us!
The color palette, the tone of things. It was the pretext, or the portend for the whatever it was burrowing up from the ground before, with the dog in the woods.
Oh no! They're everywhere!
What do we do?
Take a deep breath. Jump!
That's the end of Chapter 1, The Darun Legacy, in the beginning of Chapter 2. The Strangers. Things. The Strangers Things. Oh, as soon as I get done recording this, I'm going right back to that new season. God, it's so good.
The village must be further on. Someone there should be able to help us find the rentiers. Hugo? Hugo?
Mummy won't be happy when she finds out I fell in the water.
Well, let's not mention it when we see her, all right? Come on. First we have to get dry.
Poor little guy's oblivious.
Amicia, why did they want to capture us?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it right now.
We'll ask the rentiers to take us to see Mummy and Daddy.
Yes, of course.
Yes, Laurentius.
Where
Of the
is
Great
everyone?
Swamp.
Oh, apples.
Hugo, not now.
But
Don't touch them. They're all rotten.
I'm hungry.
How can you think of food right now?
Boy, you know you can't eat those apples. Look at them. For 5 seconds.
They're really big.
They won't hurt you.
What are those noises? Are they sick?
They're just clearing their noses. Come on, we have to go.
Another very important bit of audio. The buzzing of flies. We've heard that before.
There must be a lot of people.
It is associated with something, and it has now become a
Excuse me,
motif.
please wait. Madam?
What's the matter with them?
They look scared.
Excuse me, I'm the daughter of Lord Robert Darun. We were attacked. We need help.
Please, it's very cold.
Well, let's try this other house.
Anybody there? I'm with my little brother. The Darun estate was attacked.
Hello?
I'm begging you,
Can
please
open the
help
door?
us.
We're wet and hungry.
What on earth is going on?
More flies buzzing.
Is anyone there? We need help. No one is going to let us in. What's the matter with them? Please, somebody help us.
Go away. You're not wanted here.
But I'm your lord's daughter.
They
I
are
don't believe it.
They're hiding.
actively turning us away, not just hiding.
I told you we need to leave.
And go where?
Someone's there.
We'll come back later when things are better.
Oh, look. Someone's drawn something on the doors.
Come back here. That means there are sick people in these houses. Don't touch anything.
Oh, they're not allowed to go outside.
It's more serious than that. It means that we could catch their illness, so stop running around.
All right. Sorry. There was a fire here.
They burned all the furniture. The village is contaminated. That's why everyone's hiding.
I can smell something cooking. Is it fair?
It doesn't sound like a fair. Good Lord.
You! I'm begging you. Go get help.
Well, I'll be damned. Here's the rest of them.
What? No, wait, we're just looking for someone.
And you found him. It's your damn music what brought them out, huh? Those dirty vermin that invaded our church. That filth would attack our children in their beds and gave them the black thing. But now you found Conrad Malfort. And I'm telling you, this is the last village you'll infect.
Amicia!
Come on.
So we hauled ass to pestis-palooza, and now we're hauling ass away from it.
Why are they angry? Are they going to burn us too?
Yes. So the late 14th century was hundreds of years pre-Enlightenment.
Hide, Amicia!
Profoundly superstitious time. You know those dope plague doctor outfits? They weren't exactly medieval hazmat suits. Because this predates the germ theory of disease too. One of their functions, one of the reasons they had a beak, was because of the miasma theory of disease, which posited that disease is spread by bad air. So, you know, something that smelled bad, that was thought to be a contaminant. You could see the logic, though. Things that are rotten smell bad, decomposing corpses smell bad. So to counteract that, plague doctor masks were stuffed in the beaks with nice scents, like potpourri, to counteract this virulent miasma.
Not that way!
Where are we going?
Come on, just run as fast
These
as you
chase
can.
sequences are really just a series of really simple branching paths. Usually, you'll run for a bit, come to a fork, and the solution of which fork you take is pretty obvious because there are dudes with pitchforks and swords and knives
What are they doing?
at one end.
They think we have brought evil with us. We have to find a way out of here. Let's push it.
And this will be a simple pushcart puzzle, or a block pushing puzzle more or less. Which will lead to another one.
Good.
Massive
We can climb
spoilers
onto
for
it
the
now.
upcoming block pushing puzzle.
We're going to climb up.
That's right, not a sound.
This one, though, will require us to use a secondary tool. So they introduce this idea, and then they ask you to combine your knowledge of that with your knowledge of something else, which is
The
our
chain doesn't
sling.
look very strong.
But it will make some noise, right?
Do you have a better idea?
So we use our sling, bring the box down, and push that to continue
Let's push
out of the,
this.
Yes.
I don't know, some kind of workshop? / barn? Workshop built into a barn? Yeah. Yeah, let's say that.
Come, I'll get
Also,
you
a fun
up.
trampoline on the right. I wish. Hugo wishes too. And everything is fine.
We got out.
So we can leave now, right?
If they don't find us again.
But you have your sling. You can protect us.
It's not that easy, Hugo.
Oh,
It's all good. She won't have to use her sling.
Oh no, quickly!
Aw,
Quick,
shit.
the ladder, go
Nope,
on,
it popped
climb,
off
you run.
immediately.
it doesn't look safe, Amicia.
We're running out of time, they're
It's
coming!
going to break.
No, no!
It broke.
Hugo, where are you going? Don't leave me!
Amicia, come here. This side.
So he would have led us over here
There you are!
I found this, so you can climb up.
if we hadn't figured that out on our own.
Watch out!
And then we use the same concept from before.
Come on, come
Just
on.
nice reinforcing of this idea, so that they can do more interesting and more complicated things with it down the road.
I was scared.
I'm sorry about the ladder.
It's my fault. You were right.
We need to go home.
Stay here and not a sound. And you can come here.
I'm coming.
Hell yeah.
Amicia, hide.
Well, where the hell are they?
Conrad, we've surrounded the area. They were here a few minutes ago.
The two of you surrounded the whole area? Conrad lost his mind when his kid died. We have to burn innocent people? Chase kids? Meanwhile, the plague spreads through the village.
Amicia, your sling makes too much noise.
Yes, thank you, Hugo. You are a very smart boy. That man is not smart. So this time you noticed, they didn't hold our hands as much, giving us the solution. It was still really straightforward, but now they're expecting a little tiny bit more out of you. Again, setting the stage for things to get a little bit more complicated as we progress. It's just good, solid game design.
Oh no, not again!
And now another pop-off.
Which way?
I don't know!
And they gave you a little release valve for the tension in the middle of all the pop-offs, which is also just good pacing. Give you a puzzle, a pop-off, a puzzle, pop-off,
Quickly.
and a stealth segment. And now, even though it's quieted down a little bit, it's still really tense. It's not exactly a puzzle here, it's just desperately scanning the environment to figure out how to get away from the mob.
Hurry! Quickly, Hugo, please!
I can.
Hugo, he's here!
I'm coming!
Hugo, do something!
Yeah, okay, that took longer than I remembered.
Stop, Amicia.
Oh, please, we've got to carry on! Just a little further!
So no one cutting us off yet, except this is a dead end.
We're finished!
This way. Don't be afraid. Come in.
Excellent. We're gonna get into some really cool stuff next time. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and all that other stuff. Take it easy. Have a good one, y'all.